Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Chris and I run a 3D printing business in my basement. Today, I just want to give you a perspective into the day in life. It is a Saturday, but I have a huge batch order that's going out by this Wednesday, or actually Tuesday of this week. I've got tons of assembly to do. I have parts still on the printers. 3 machines are currently down, and I am just scatterbrained everywhere. So I've actually got my CEO over here helping out with some of the additional work and get me on track. So let's dive in. I'll show you what I've been up to. So the big project today that I am working on is actually a batch order of, well, this is part of it. And there are multiple components that go into this order that I have that I've been working on. And the other piece is it's been a long project. A lot of people ask me with my things I design and sell if I do any batch work. And up to this point, I really haven't with my business because for the most part, I go on a per order basis and we only make what is required. Space is really limited in the area I work, even with the upgrade, and I'm not able to store large quantities of produced product, and nor have I had like an individual product that's done so well on its own that I've really been able to say, okay, I can dedicate, this small area just to storing some stuff. So for that reason, this is kind of a new experience for me. The other challenging thing is that the product that I'm working on right now has actually been in process for weeks, and each one unit takes like a whole day to make, and there's a bunch of extra little bits and bops that go with it. So I need to get organized. I have this checklist sheet that I created to make sure that I finished all of the print jobs that I needed to, and you can see I pretty much got it all done, but now it's a matter of getting everything finalized, doing quality checks on the products, and then also making sure that I have a packing order so that way when I go through and start putting the orders together, that I'm making sure I don't miss any components. So that's gonna take some prep work. I need to get that done. I'll go grab another clipboard and start working on that. In the essence of making sure the machines are still running though, I just wanna show you guys this. You may have already seen this. I put a short out earlier before this video came out, but this is all TPU, and this is one of the parts that are needed for that batch product I'm working on. And I've been running into issues where the parts have been failing. Well, it turns out that there was actually just too much tension on the spools going from here to here. So I've strung it out so it's just a long, unobstructed piece of filament. And at this point now, it's no problem for the A1 to pull the filament in and extrude with it, but I've got 3 that are done, so I need to get these going so I can, let them work while I'm working. All right, just got my list made up here. That's gonna help out. So each product that I need to pack this coming day is gonna take have 4 parts. There could be 3 additional optional things and then an installation tool. So this will make it easy for when I actually do the packing aspect of it. One thing I just wanna talk about is 3D printing businesses in general. Somebody in one of my live streams last week, Co-Creative, I believe it was, said you quit a 9-to-5 to work 24/7, and I chuckled because I realized that's 100% true. The upside of being your own boss and starting a business, outweigh any of the negatives in my perspective, but you do work up to 24/7, and right now at this stage in life, raising a daughter and also trying to support my wife with her full-time job so she can execute the work she needs to on a daily basis throughout the week is crazy, which means my hours are all over the place. And in fact, the lists and some of these things are really starting to happen because of my wife. Yesterday, she stepped in and said, make a list of everything you need to do, and then she had, I guess maybe her eyes got wide and said, oh my gosh, you don't have time to do any of that. So I'm going to build you a task management software or use one, and then you're going to do this. And I'll tell you what, so far, I'll tell you how it is in the next week or so, but that type of clarity and assistance is pretty cool. So I guess all that to say is if you have a good partner in your business or someone supporting you throughout the journey, it does make entrepreneurship a little bit easier. But be prepared to work a lot. Just taking a quick look and checking on prints. Everything's good over here, but as funny as it may seem, I need to get back and do some organizing now because I need to clear my workspaces off again so I can get ready for a large assembly. So that's my next step. First off, apologies for the flickering. I gotta figure out the camera settings so that doesn't happen on these time lapses. But either way, Organizing is actually not too bad nowadays. I did get a bunch more plastic bins. I'm still trying to find a good like deep storage solution that I can kind of use as a flex system when I'm doing larger batch orders like this. I really hope to be doing more of this. The folding tables had to come out. I haven't had these out since Christmas, and honestly, the Harbor Freight workbenches have really been key to making my shop really organized, but I can foresee needing some more shelving like this. All right, that's all cleaned up and feeling a lot better about this space. Got this all laid out on the table, and frankly, I'm probably gonna have to get out my other folding table as well, because I think to stage all the orders up here and get them prepped, I can only fit about maybe 30 or so on this wall. So I'll have to probably use both my table and the other thing, but I'll do that tomorrow. Next up is checking printers, and then I'm gonna jump on some assembly and we can talk about some questions that I get a lot from you guys. Before we dive into that, I just wanna remind everybody that we're doing a giveaway for 3 of these Bamboo A1 Minis, and also 3 licenses to the indie version of Plasticity 3D modeling software. You can find the details in a previous video. I'll have the links down below and maybe a card up here. I started my entire business and everything you see here with just one of these small printers and sharing my adventure online. From there, I started to generate business, selling things on Etsy and whatnot, and it's been a crazy journey, and I'm really excited to see what happens this year, because I think it's gonna be kind of life-changing if we can keep up at this pace. But please go enter. The goal is to get this into the hands of somebody who is just getting started but just needs a little extra help, and hopefully a 3D modeling tool and a 3D printer can kickstart your own adventure. I'm back. Had some dinner, hung out with the family, and we're looking at a little past 8 p.m. now, and we're gonna get on to some questions from you, and I've got this all set up to press a whole bunch of magnets. Got about, I think, a couple thousand that I have to press, but this leads me into my first question, and it is about how to use the arbor press and how to design products that require magnets. Now, it actually doesn't take too much work. Really, all you have to do is take out your calipers and measure the diameter of the magnets that you need to use. And then if you're using something like this, you can almost get away with using about the same exact diameter on the hole as the magnet itself. So let me give you an example. All you really have to do is take your stack of magnets and plop it onto the bottom here. Now, I've actually 3D printed a base that goes over this metal plate. That these slots are typically for pushing out bearings and stuff. And then I can just take the product that I'm going to be inserting the magnets in, line up the hole, and then push until it seats properly. It's actually really easy. This is very little work, and I have the handle met at halfway. If you needed more power, you could actually extend the handle out here even further, since I only have it in this position to get more force. But again, this is a 1-ton press, so that's literally complete overkill. All you have to do is that, and you get a really nice finished part. Next question on the books was talking about outsourcing the design. As many of you know, I'm a big proponent of doing your own 3D models and your own products, and there's a reason for that. There's a lot of competition out there as these machines, 3D printers in particular, have become more accessible, which means more people can just download stuff and print it off. That is a business model that people choose to do, and as many of you know, that's not the style that I like. But being able to 3D model your own products in-house also saves you money. Not only are you building skill set that you can take on the road with you if you ever want to get back into a job or sell your services for a higher cost. At the beginning of starting a business, you really need to think about how you can do it with very limited cash. There's a book I read a while ago that I've talked about before on the channel called The $500 Startup by Chris Gibliow. I'll try to link it into the video. But it's worth a read, and his whole proposition is you really don't need more than $500 to start a business, and that is true if you decide and are okay with doing most of the work. If you start outsourcing stuff, things get expensive really quickly. Even things such as like logos, descriptions, everything you outsource is an additional funds that you can't pay yourself. And at the beginning of starting a business, you have way more time than you do money. So use that resource to invest in yourself and the skills that make you worthwhile and valuable. And then as the business grows, start to outsource that. I'm still not at the point, and I don't think I would really ever be interested in outsourcing my designs. My whole philosophy is, you know, if other people have designs and want me to produce their products, more than happy to do that for them. But when it comes to me selling on my shops, I have a lot of personal pride in the things I make and put online. Another great question is, how do you know when you are ready to buy your next printer? And I think at the beginning, you should really aim to buy as few printers as possible and really only get them when they're either on sale or when you have an exact need for them. The nice thing is that as your business grows, the cost of a new 3D printer becomes less and less of a burden, and scaling up like maybe I have in the last couple months here has really not been a big deal. I've been able to pay myself while also buying more equipment to make my job a lot easier. But at the beginning, you can get a lot done with 3D printing, but again, goes back to that conversation about time being one of your main resources when you start off. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time in front of your printer and switching things over. The benefit of having as many printers as I do at this point is I can crank out a lot of orders in an individual day, and I don't have to stay up really, really late anymore. Well, that's not entirely true because business is still good, but I don't have to stay up super late if I don't need to on a normal day to still get those orders out. I'm still in the midst of like trying to figure out when I need to buy my next printers. Nice thing is I've got kind of a lull. This is my last big order that needs to go out here this week, and then it's kind of about a week and a half of slower pace unless something comes in crazy, but I doubt it will. I don't have anything on the books. That's going to give me some breathing room, honestly, to focus on doing some extra videos for you guys, but then also I've got like a backlog of maybe 5 or more products that have come 95% of the way, and then I featured some of them on the channel, but then never actually got them up. So I have a lot of work to do listing wise and whatnot to get things online. Oh, and it's tax season, so I got to do that as well. But when it comes to buying a 3D printer, I would prioritize at the beginning staying up super late and swapping prints over at midnight and then waking up first thing in the morning and getting right back on the printer, as opposed to just going out and buying a bunch of machines. It will feel grueling for a while, but I guess that's just part of being an entrepreneur. You really need to be invested and excited to do this type of work if you're able to make it or willing to make it in the long run. People always ask if I do batch work or if I do per order, and for the most part, it's per order. This is the first batch project that I've had to do, and it's pretty cool to see the efficiencies that can come from doing the same thing over and over. This one just feels extra long because each one of the full units takes like a full day to print on the printer. So I had 4 to 5 of my P1Ss rocking there for about a couple of weeks to get all these put out, and now we're in the final stretch getting ready for packing early this week. All right, got this done for a set of magnets, which is sweet. Now I still have a whole bunch of work ahead of me, and got all this as well. All right, let's walk and talk. Next question is about what my average order size, and they were very kind and said, hey, if you don't want to share because of financial reasons, blah, blah, blah. But what I can tell you is there's a huge range. So it's actually hard to answer the average order size. You know, there can be some orders that are like over $200 and there's some that are like 10 bucks. But what I would say is, on average, if you can actually plan or shoot to put $10 to $20 of net profit into your own pocket with each box that ships out the door of your shop, you'll be in a really, really, really good spot, and you'll be able to make this business grow and scale. What I think you should avoid is trying to be in a race for the bottom, because if you try to win on price with your products, which I know I just talked about on my last video, you're really gonna be in a bad position. I don't mind doing all this work because I know it makes good money, and we all have to pay each other a good amount of salary so we can all live and eat. So even when I think about like where I live, sometimes I like going to do the local stuff and spending a little bit more, knowing that that money is going to go to support either a cause I like, a person I like, or support my local community. And broader than that, I extend that local community to places online too. And there's a lot of small creators that I personally like and support because I know they put out good work. And I think if you position yourself and in that same way, you'll find a group of people who not only want to buy your products because they like the solution you've made, but are also willing to pay a little bit extra because they like who you are, your philosophy, and why you're doing business. And another thing with business ownership is you really have to pick and prioritize your wins and losses. Right now, like I said, my orders are a little bit slower, but I have a printer that needs to be repaired. This one, and then one over there. I actually had another batch of filament, which I think it may be oversized. So I've just got some clogged nozzles I need to address, but right now I've got 3 of my big printers down. So tonight I do not have the time to do that. I'm lucky that I don't need them immediately, but I guess I'm gonna have to just cross that one out for today. Well, thanks for listening to my ramblings today. I'm actually gonna wrap it up here because honestly, I just have so much more assembly to do. It's just gonna be me on repeat with time lapses. This week, I will have another live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern, so be aware that that will be coming out. It's a great place to just get involved with the community and ask questions. If you're interested in doing some one-on-one coaching, I have been doing that as well. You can send me an email with the link in the bio or the contact page on my website. It's $200 for an hour, and I'll sit down. I have some questions beforehand, but those have been going super well. I've really enjoyed talking with people, learning about their business and where they're at, and just trying to give them an action plan. So anyway, if you got more questions about this type of business or how things are going, I'd love to hear it. If you have some wins for yourself, feel free to share them in the comments. And as always, I'll see you next time, and feel free to check out the shorts. I've been doing a lot of those lately. All right, see you later.